My name's Jamie Lewis, and you're watching LA Bass Licks. Welcome to my floor. Today we're going to be doing a video on my pedal board. This is perhaps the question I get asked most often. It's always about gear, and particularly what's at my feet, what I'm dancing on throughout the show. Probably comes from all the Instagram pictures that I'm always posting of, different pedals that are swapping in and out. And, I like to take a picture of my rig for the night because it changes from time to time. And I apologize wholeheartedly. I've been promising this video to a lot of you for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to it until today. So I'm sorry, it's long overdue, but we're finally going to have at it. Now, I'm not so much going to go through and demo each pedal that's in here because, there's already a lot of great product videos on most of them. Some of them I've done, and, a lot of these companies have done a great job of demoing their stuff online on YouTube. But what I am going to talk about is what I'm using, why I'm using it, and where it is in the signal chain, and why I've placed it there. Okay, so I think that'll be beneficial for you. So number one, this is a Pedaltrain Pedaltrain Pro pedal board with the flight case behind me. That thing is solid as a rock. It's a tank. Ain't nothing getting through that. So that's what I'm using, and also all my pedals are powered by a Voodoo Lab Mondo power supply. I believe it'll run 12 pedals running like 9 volt, and it'll also do like the Line 6 and the Strymons and some digital things too. So anyways, yeah, Pedaltrain Pro, flight case, Voodoo Lab Mondo. I'm just going to go ahead and give you the tour, I guess. So check this out. We're starting out with, let me do this first. Let me just kind of give you the bird's eye view of everything that's on there. I think there's 12 pedals on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, and then these two expression and volume pedals. So over here at the top, this is the first thing that I run into. This is a Source Audio programmable EQ pedal. All right, now with it's capable of storing 4 different presets of EQ and gain. I don't actually use it as an EQ pedal. I don't touch the EQ. What I use it as is having 4 different gain settings for 4 different basses. Because here's the thing, if I go from a passive bass to a 5-string active, or my upright or anything else, it's going to have a different output volume. And so that affects front of house, that affects stage volume, and then it also affects every pedal that I'm running into. Right? If my overdrive is being hit with more volume with my 5-string than it is with the 4-string, then it's going to drive harder and differently. It's going to be different regardless because the bass is different, but I don't want it to necessarily go from just a little bit of slight hair to like full-on crunchy distortion. So that's what I do. Before I head on tour, I will go into the studio, into Pro Tools, and I'll mess with that. I'll set the output gain of each bass so that they're all pretty much at the same level. They're all peaking at the same spot. And then I'll save it in there and we're good for the whole tour. No matter what bass I'm using, I can select it in there. So anyways, from that pedal made by Source Audio, it goes into this Ernie Ball volume pedal. And to be honest, I'm not really sure which one it is. I know it's the Junior. They have a lot of different volume pedals. It's definitely the Junior one. I just like that because it was cheaper and took up less real estate. So from this volume pedal, and all it is just on, off, and anywhere in between, some of it's being sent to the tuner. The tuner stays on at all times, and the tuner is not in the chain either because the volume pedal has its own tuner output. So I don't use the tuner as a kill switch. I'll just turn the volume pedal off for that. So yeah, some of it goes to the tuner. The other goes to this Aguilar Octamizer right here, which is probably my favorite octave pedal. From that, it goes into this FEA Labs DE-CL compressor. This Xotic Effects bass BB preamp that's a little bit of overdrive. Into a Source Audio Multiwave bass distortion. Over into an FEA Labs Photon Fuzz pedal, Voodoo Lab Analog Chorus, over to the Source Audio Bass Envelope Filter, an FEA Labs Dual Band Compressor pedal, into the TC Electronic Nova Delay, and the TC Electronic Ditto for looping. And that's pretty much it. Well, not pretty much. That is it. Okay, I guess the only thing I didn't mention is this guy right here. This is a Source Audio hot hand. And this isn't a pedal so much as it is a controller for any of my Source Audio pedals. So like for the Multiwave Distortion, there's a yellow channel and a green channel. So I can blend between the two with a expression pedal or with the hot hand. That's that ring that you see a lot of guys using. Or the Source Audio bass envelope filter. It can kind of turns your hand into the wah pedal. So that's how a lot of the dubstep guys do that, is with this thing right here and some of the different Source Audio pedals. What else? Okay, and the expression pedal too, pretty much I use with the, I'll show you in a second, but the bass envelope filter, I'll use the expression pedal with that so that I don't have to use the ring, I don't have to use my hand, I can use my foot, because sometimes I prefer that depending on the passage. So let me just go ahead and kind of demo each of these for you a little bit, just so you can get a feel for what they sound like and what they're doing. So again, the first thing in the stage is the EQ pedal, literally just to set my gain, and then the volume pedal. So now we're live. The first thing in my chain is my octaver, and I think that it should be, because that's kind of the one that the further away it gets from my bass, the more effects you put in front of it, the less effective it becomes. Octavers are really iffy. You'll be playing, and then right there you hear the sound kind of drop out. The less signal you give it, the less it's going to do its job. So I always make sure the octaver is first. Then I go into, you'll notice I had two compressor pedals in here. I had the dual band compressor towards the end, and I have the that dual engine compressor limiter right after the octaver. This one here is pretty much only for slap. The DE-CL. I use the dual band in a different way. If you've seen that video before that I did, I compress the lows just to give it a little bit more body, and then I'll compress the top end for sustain if I want some of that. I'll get to that pedal. But anyways, there's a whole nother video on that you can check out. But I like to use just this one here for just slap tone, pretty much. From there we go into this bass BB preamp by Xotic, and that's really just for a little bit of hair, a little bit of overdrive, not so much distortion. You probably don't even notice it. I like what it does, and I like that it has a bass and a treble knob afterwards. Sometimes I'll swap this out. I've got a ton of other pedals that aren't on here, but I'll swap this one out with the Voodoo Labs Sparkle Drive. And I like that the Sparkle Drive has you can bring in the dry tone, which is really important for bass. Being that this one has a bass knob on it, that makes me not lose any of my bottom end when I start overdriving it. From there I go into the bass Multiwave Distortion by Source Audio, and this is kind of cool for the more synthy distortions. That's why I have it there. This one's almost never on its own. I'll just about always overdrive first and hit maybe the envelope filter. That's a pretty cool sound. After that, it goes into my fuzz pedal, and I just like the way fuzz sound. Just super consistent. There's no like the overdrive pedals that I use, kind of the harder I play or the softer I play, the distortion will kind of move with that. With fuzz, it's just like brick wall limiting fuzz distortion. It's a cool sound. The chorus pedal, this is kind of the nicest one I've found. It's very sweet. I like it when I play melodies. It's very sweet sound, and it doesn't kill all my bottom end, as I've found a lot of chorus pedals do. It's popping right now. I need to fix that. Voodoo Lab doesn't make this one anymore, so gotta see. The envelope filter, yeah, pretty much like the dubstep-y kind of stuff, and anything wiki-wacky, you know, that's what an envelope filter does best. And like I said, sometimes I use the hot hand, sometimes I use, right now I have, yeah, right now I'm using the expression pedal. That way I can still play a melodic line and, you know, not have to worry about moving my hand to get that to do anything. Let's see, the dual band compressor pedal. You know, same thing like I said in my other video. I like to squash the low end, just to give it a little bit of body, especially if you're using in-ears only and no amplifier. This is a great tool. And then also, you can bypass the second band. So if I'm playing a line, add a little bit of sustain and just kind of suck it all in together. I like the way that that sounds sometimes, especially if I want like that Jack Johnson or Sublime-esque type of compression. That can be a cool effect. From there I go into the TC Electronic Nova delay. I chose a Nova delay because it's got tap tempo and a whole bunch of features that are just handy right from the get-go. I don't have to do like any multi-function, hold it down, wait 3 seconds, and do some different things. And then finally the loop pedal. The TC Electronic Ditto, and literally all it does is it loops on and off, undo. I mean, it's a pretty basic unit. I like it a lot. I don't need to have like 3 different layers happening at once. And yeah, so like I said, Octaver is where it is because it needs to be there. I like to keep the distortions up front because kind of like the same thing with the Octaver. I don't want to be distorting the envelope filter or the delays afterwards. I've got a compressor, the dual band compressor at the end, because I like to basically take everything that's in there and squash it up, because each of these cables is increasing the length, and even though if they're true bypass, whether or not they are, you're sucking away a little bit of your tone each time. And so I like putting the compressor pedal at the end, just kind of like brings everything back up to here for a second. A couple of things I like to do that I haven't been you know, using the way that they're designed. For instance, one thing I like to do with this loop pedal right here, let's say, especially I'll do this in church, there's a song that's just kind of like starting out, so tempo 2, 3, 4. I'll tap it on my delay, and then I'll set the loop station for like 1 bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there's nothing going to it yet, and the volume is rolled all the way down. And then I'll do this kind of thing. Right? And then I'll blend that in. Add a little bit of delay on there. Right. And now I've got this really cool kind of pad happening underneath the song. So the rest of the band is playing, and there's this sort of monotonous droning couple of notes that I can then fade in, fade out. I don't know. The delay really helps you carry over on that one. But yeah, so that's just some of the pedals that I use. Again, I have more, but these are the ones that stay on there most of the time. And I always keep them on the big pedal board. I've gone through and I've had like, this is what I use on club gigs, this is what I use in bars and restaurants, and this is what I take on tour. At this point, I just kind of keep it all on there because I hate doing multiple setups. Some people, I know, they love swapping out pedals all the time. For me, once I find something that works, I'll just keep it all on there. And if something changes, if I don't like it, I just won't use it that night. It's not a big deal. I don't have to, you know, swap it out with something else. So anyways, that's what's on my board. That's why I use it, and hopefully that helps you guys when you're figuring out what sounds you like. So see you next time.